Hello everyone. This video is going to be about embroidery objects. Embroidery objects are a new feature that you'll find very useful. Basically, it gives you the ability to embed an entire embroidery design in one graphic object, and then you can use that object to scale, move, um, copy, paste, and the object will be all contained within the embroidery object. So for example, let's just do a simple example, star. That we have, let's say, a line under. So we have two objects. And we want these objects to be combined into an object. We just go over here and make it an object. And now this star is now just one object. Now the nice thing about this is you can go ahead and you can do things with it, like scale it, move it, rotate it. And it basically stays, the graphics basically get manipulated. If you're done with that and you didn't really want to do that, you can explode the object, which basically brings you back to the original object you had. Right now we have two objects. And so we make it an object, then we basically can edit the object. We go into this and let's say we wanted to edit a line to go through the star like that. Then now it's edited. So let me give you an example of doing a leaf and the stem to show you kind of the power of how this can all be used. Okay, let's draw the leaf. I'm going to do a satin column, curved column for the leaf. You do one half of the leaf and then do the other half. I could do both halves and then mirror them and do the same thing I'm doing here, but I'm just doing this for expediency. We basically can make the leaves match each other by using the mirror points function, which will basically make all the points go where they need to go. But we can see where they need to go anyway. We're just going to do that instead. We'll just go ahead and move the points to the same places so that we end up having the same symmetric shape to the leaf. Now, normally what you would do is you would actually have these be biased somewhat so that the leaf actually goes up and down, but we're not going to do that for this example. Now that we have the basic leaf shape done, I'm going to turn on endpoints here so you can see where the start and ends are. Right now, they're just basically going both start and stop here. We want to do some underlay under this leaf. This is part of the beauty of actually using embroidery objects, is that basically I just did underlay by choosing duplicate and make coarse satin. We can get the underlay to be embedded. Well, the whole graphic can be embedded. So basically, we're going to do the underlay first. So let's turn things off. So we got the underlay starting here. That's where we would want our leaf to start anyway. It's going to end here. And then the second underlay, we want to change the stitch direction. So if we choose the reverse point order button and click on the graphic, you'll see that it reverses it. It only reverses it once. You can see the underlay is shorter than the actual leaf. And then the next leaf element we have is going from left to right. And we can't really see that. We'll turn that off and on so you can see the next element's going left to right. And then the last one is going left to right too. So we want to choose reverse point order and reverse the point order. So now we have a leaf with underlay. So if we play the movie, you will see that it will do the underlay first, and then it's going to do the leaf. Now, as a last step, let's just have some fun with this and actually draw a running stitch up and down the leaf, right all the way to the end, like that. And then that running stitch is here. We'll go ahead and make this an as drawn double. So it's going to go to and from. We'll set the length to something like 25. And we're going to have add stitches to line. So what this does is when we actually do see it, for real, you'll see that, well, this is kind of dark. Let's make this, instead of blue, let's make it green. After all, leaves are green. And your leaf will look like that. Now, this leaf is now the basis of embroidery objects, which I'll talk about next. Now that we have our leaf done, let's make it into an embroidery object. And the way you do that is you select all the items you want to be in the embroidery object, and you press this Make Object icon. You can see that it looks like a couple dots surrounded by a big dot. It's basically they're all connected. It's just kind of indicating that that's all one object. So now you can see the leaf now is only one item, and it has a box around it. Now what this box represents is it represents the control points for the object. So if I go ahead and I scale the object or rotate the object, which I'm doing now, you'll see that the object will rotate. So what's powerful about this is I also have the rotate feature here that you can use. That's going to be in a new version, so you don't actually have that yet. But I'm going to use it anyway for this demo because it's such a nice feature. So I'm going to do a couple leaves that are different sizes, and I'm going to make them be part of a larger leaf stem. So basically I've copied a bunch of leaves here, and you can just move them where you need to move them with this new feature that I have basically, and you can scale them as well, up and down. Since they're embroidery objects, everything updates automatically. So each of these is its own individual embroidery design. So what's important now is we want to order this as would make sense. So basically we're going to come out on here on the leaf. We're going to probably go up this leaf down and do that on the side, and then we'll do the left side, and then we'll come back down and do the stem here. Now I drew all these things. You can draw these. I'm not going to give an explanation on how that's done right this video. This is more about embroidery objects. But we're going to go ahead and order these properly. So that probably needs to go first. No, this needs to go second. Sorry. This needs to go second. So you want to get everything in the stitch order that makes sense. Okay, now I've drawn all of the leaves and the running paths to it, so they'll just go step through it. So the first running path is like that, then it goes to the leaf, and then the next running path goes to the next leaf, and the next running path goes to the third leaf, and then the next running path goes to the fourth, and we just keep on going back. And all these running paths will be covered over by the final stem, which the final stem is this, and then this final stem gets covered. Well, that's the underlay for the final stem that gets covered. So then when you watch it for the movie, you will see this. Now imagine if you had a whole tree full of these. It would just be so complicated. So right now, we can take all these and we can make it yet again another embroidery object. So now we have an embroidery object that's a stem. Well, a stem with the whole leaves. And you notice that we missed one running path here. So this is what's neat about embroidery objects. They can be edited as much as you want. So basically we can go ahead and go into the embroidery object with this button, and we can add that last running stitch that we missed before we went to the underlay for the stem. So I'm going to click this leaf here as a starting point, and I'm going to go from this stem all the way to the end here. And so I've added another running stitch here. And now that I'm done editing the object, I'll just say return from edit, and it'll go ahead and it's all done. So now when we actually play the movie, you'll see that we have the same sort of thing here as we did before, and we have a whole stem. So basically we have the leaves embedded into the stem, and now we have the stem as an embroidery object. So now at this point, we can just take this and duplicate this as well, because it's just another graphic object. And now we have two of them. And we can do neat things with this. So for example, let's say we actually didn't want to do that. We wanted to do something a little more artistic. Well, not artistic, but we wanted to pattern the leaves. We could pattern the leaves in a circular pattern. In this case, I'm just going to do 4 leaves with the angle totally around. We already have the leaf at the 0, 0 point. So we'll just make this 0, 0. Press preview, and we'll say OK. Now we have this as our design.